morning, everybody. This is Vincent Meza with Listings to Leads. This is our last Get Started call for 2022. So I'm glad you're here. There's always new things to talk about. And right now, I think, one of the things I want to start call off is some of the, just the market conditions and expectations and things like that. There's a lot of people on the call. Actually, there's a lot of people coming on the call. So it's probably going to be a big group. Feel free to ask your questions at any time in the chat panel. This is being recorded and it will be in our mastermind group. So if you want to put in the chat panel, kind of your comfort level, how long you've been using us. Yeah, Dave, email me later with that question. And let's talk about what we need to do with listings to leads, before before you guys get lost. So if you look at our website here, it says, you can get buyers and sellers with or without listings. And that's, I think we've been doing this for 13 years now. Our goal is to create value for you as realtors, whether you have listings or whether you don't. So if you want more buyers, we have tools to help you. If you have listings, great. If you don't have listings, no big deal. We still have ways to help you. If you want more sellers, if you want more listing leads, we have a lot of ways to help you. If you have sold properties, you should be marketing them. If you don't have any properties, we still have tools to help you. So, I think we think of it as a realtor always has a business cycle. You have your sine wave or whatever you want to call it. You got ups and downs, and whether they call it feast or famine. Now, if you're a typical realtor, that can be really a difficult, that can be a difficult kind of business to be in. I think that's one of the reasons why realtors quit so early in the game. And if they are fortunate enough to find us or a company like us, and frankly, I don't think there are many companies. There are companies that sound like us, but they don't have all the things that we have to help agents. I think you can smooth out those dips, those rough spots in the business. So this call is getting started. There's a lot inside under the hood here. I know a lot of agents will sign up and forget that they signed up, and this isn't going to help them. It'll charge them $60 a month. And, we kind of appreciate that, but we actually appreciate it more when our clients are giving us feedback and telling us it's really helping them. And so let's talk about the ways that you can unlock the value with this. Okay. First of all, joining a live training like this is the way to go. If you go to this web page right here, I'm going to send it to all of you right now. It's called leadgenwebinars.com. So if you're watching this recorded, you'll be able to still go to leadgenwebinars.com and sign up for these classes. Here's today's class, getting started. There's a Google and Facebook ad class. There is also top tools to get more listings. These three classes I think are super important. Now, Scott's also doing a series called How to Make $250,000 in Real Estate. And it's really a high level discussion of all marketing that you should be doing and where does listings to leads fit in that, right? It's almost like a business plan discussion because every business, it doesn't matter if you're selling, cars or, rugs or eyelashes or homes, you need to have a full marketing system. It's going to involve print. It's going to involve your local geographic areas. It's going to involve online. It's going to probably involve social media. And that's exactly what this class here, this whole series of classes is about. So I would definitely recommend that you sign up for that and you hear that. And I think that's going to help you understand how listings to leads can help your entire business, right? So when we go, so that's lead gen webinars, right? You can sign up for live classes there. We also record our classes. So this class right now is being recorded and Scott's series is being recorded. And right here is our YouTube channel. Now I'm going to copy this and I'm going to send this all to you right now. And honestly, I would hold on to this. And if you don't have time to join our live calls like this one right now, you should just go and check these out. And I will tell you this, like I rotate through Get Started, Facebook and Google classes, and Top Tools to Get More Listings. Like I just rotate through those all the time. But you may not know this, we are always adding new tools, right? And we're always, we're going to be adding a lot of new stuff through 2023. We added a lot of new powerful tools in 2022. And a really smart way of staying on top of that is just going to this site, going to this page right here and checking the first, 10 or 15 minutes out of every class. Because if there's something new or something moving and shifting in the market, I'm usually talking about it first before we dive into it. Okay. So this YouTube channel is huge. It's great. I recommend it. This is our mastermind group. And if you're a client, you should be in the group. All right. Now it's awesome because this is where Scott and I are announcing, the new stuff, the new things that are going on. And it's also where our clients ask questions, right? Like where they're saying, this is what's working, this is what's not working. And I want to kind of bring us into this group because it's going to get me into a discussion that I think we should all have about the current market, right? But if we scroll down, we'll see here, like, here's a guy who I'd never heard of, and he did this really cool thing. He said, "Hey, I took your QR code for a home valuation landing page and I put it on a t-shirt," right? Which I think is kind of hilarious because it's inviting people to come up to my chest and take your smartphone out and take a picture of my chest, right? That's what it is. But what he found is that you can create unlimited home valuation landing pages in our system. I'm going to show you where to do that. And yeah, we create a QR code for every one of those. So he took that, kind of updated it and put it on his t-shirt. And now, he doesn't need a sandwich board anymore. He can just walk around his neighborhood and get some leads, right? I think that's great. I can tell you this, I mentioned we've been doing this for 13 years. So many of our tools in listings to leads have come from the feedback of our clients. Like we create something, it's really effective. And then a client will go, "Hey, we use that tool, but we use it this way." And if it sounds great, like, wow, we could really make that available to a lot of people, we do. And a lot of our tools have been created, a lot of the strategies by a lot of our clients over the years. I don't know if we're going to start printing t-shirts on the fly, but I definitely like that creativity. But one thing that I want to kind of address is just the market, right? Like kind of the market. Because what I'm going to show you is how you capture leads. And this lady here asked a question, Heidi. And so let's just ask her a question. She says, "Hey, this used to fill up my lead gen, but over the past month or so, almost nothing. Is this the season or what do you think?" And I'm going to tell you what I think, which is I kind of am in reality and in the real world, interest rates have doubled, nearly doubled over a 1 year space, right? And that has a lot of people sitting on the fence and everything is tricky, right? Everything is just a little bit trickier. Had we been talking a year ago and you put a listing in the MLS, it would probably be in contract in less than a week. I think right now it would probably be in contract in a couple of months. Now, those are just broad brush kind of concepts. Some markets are different. Some are still moving super fast and others are even slower. But I think that this is part of the reality, right? Came here December 1st and he's getting leads as well, right? He's getting leads right now. But I do think I certainly have heard many of times that people are not seeing the results from certain kinds of ads right now. And it doesn't surprise me at all, right? Because it's a weird market. Everybody's kind of sitting on the fence. If you're a buyer, you're thinking prices are going to collapse and interest rates are going to go up and all this and that. People are just kind of concerned. I get it. I was looking at some information on home builders, and I know you can probably imagine that if you bought a home that was just recently constructed and there's still hundreds or thousands of units to come in, you could find yourself underwater real quick, right? So there's all these kind of elements going on. There was a question that Janice asked. Janice, I'll get to it in just a second. But that's, I think, one big thing that's in the market, in the space right now, right? Just that kind of hesitancy about what's happening, right? But all that being said, I have clients generating a lot of leads right now. Now, what we're looking at right now is inside an account of listings leads. It's an account that I started at the end of October. It is now the end of December. So that's about 2 months, right? Now, this is a unique client. You may not know this, but I set up the team accounts and I set up the office accounts around the country and the partnerships and stuff like that, right? So I set up an account for an expansion team at Keller Williams. And what that means is they sort of have agents in various offices, in this case, in North and South Carolina. And they are sort of recruit them to be on their team, even though they're not sitting next to each other in an office, they're spread out all over the Carolinas, right? So there's one gentleman who I set this account up with. His role is I got to get leads for these agents because we're all, on one team and we're trying to make it go, right? So we'll just kind of dive into Facebook ads, and a little bit of a contrast, right? Like here's a lady, and I know Heidi. She actually came in here and had some awesome things. If we look at her name, she's had some awesome results with our platform. But 6 days ago, she's like, things are kind of not working out so well, right? I don't think it's a time to stop, and I'll give you a reason why. As I mentioned, Nick here from this expansion team, he just wants to get leads, right? So we set him up. I set him up in this kind of unusual way, and because normally you have agents in here and stuff like that. But what I want to show you is what is going on right now. Okay. And this is really important for you as a realtor, or if you're part of a team, you might want to be thinking about this as well. Because a lot of agents, I think, they might do an ad or two, right? Maybe they do. I don't know how often they do, but pretty much it's inconsistent. You know what I mean? Being consistent for a realtor is not the easiest thing, apparently. And so, but this guy, his only job is to get buyer leads. Well, it's not his only job, but that's a big part of what he's doing. So he's using our system to do it. And I'm going to kind of walk you through the numbers here. I'm not going to walk you through the ads, but it's pretty self-evident. He, since the end of October, has spent nearly $8,000, right? $799. That's a lot of money. A lot of people are not doing that, right? But he has 3,000 leads in 2 months for X number of agents, okay? Another thing that's really helpful is the impressions. Over 500,000 impressions, meaning 500,000 people are seeing that his group has properties for sale and are getting familiar with the brands that are sponsoring those ads, right? So you can see it's, I don't know, what is it, $2.50 or something less than that for buyer leads, right? He's also got some seller leads, but he's not too focused on that. So I see a question here, and let's answer some of those right now. So Janice, you're talking about texting on follow-up. Will it be added? I think so. So we haven't gotten into it. So let me answer these questions and then we'll keep moving. Johnny, I need an invite to the mastermind group. You know where you get that, guys? You go into your account and you go to support right here on the bottom left, and there's a big fancy box right there. And you just say, hey, please add me to the mastermind group, right? And then Farrell is telling me a story that I just hear about way too much, which is his account is restricted and can't do anything. But he's got some good questions. Filed an appeal. Can I start an account? Let me know if I can email or communicate with me online. Well, let me help you, Farrell. I am not going to be able to help you get anywhere near Facebook. But, I'll give you a little background. In the September of this year, some final rules got sort of smacked down on Facebook, and they announced it, they emailed it and all this stuff, right? Like they've had illegal ads on their platform, and HUD got involved and sued them and said, okay, well, for you to continue to live or operate, you're going to have to follow some new rules, right? They tell this to Facebook. And those rules got emailed out to everybody. They were really spooky and everybody kind of freaked out and was emailing us all the time. But one thing that I have seen is that Facebook, like I want to say arbitrarily, I don't know if that's the right word, They went out and wiped out a lot of people's accounts. I have an office, Remax, in Wesley Chapel in Florida, and they have an office account on Facebook, and they really don't do anything with it. They don't even run ads with it. They just, but they have it there and stuff. And then all of a sudden, Facebook just like wiped it out, right? Just shut it off. And there's a lot of accounts that Facebook just turned off. And like Farrell is saying, cannot find a way to get help or get it back online. We actually had a problem like that a year or so ago here at Listings to Lead. And so one thing I would tell you, and I am not an authority on this, and I don't, there's like, I wish there was something like ABC. This is how everything works. But honestly, it's a mystery. It's a mystery soup over there at Facebook. They're more focused on their metaverse when they should be focused on getting people spending money on their platform with ads. I'm not running Facebook. So, but I will tell you that you do need to continue to email them and appeal to them to get them to review your account. That's the only way you can get it on. And if you try to create a new Facebook account, you can find that that might not get approved also. A lot of people, it looks to me like they're looking at your IP address and they just block you, right? So Janice is having the same problem. The customer service at Facebook, it might be some of the worst in any company I've ever seen. There's one company that's worse called ListHub, but you may not know who they are, and that's in the real estate space. But anyway, that's as much as I can tell you about Facebook and disabling. I would continue to email them, find a way until they help you, right? Okay. So that's all about that. So we were talking about ads, and I just want to say the point of that is that it's still working. But maybe it's not going to get the kind of results that it was getting a year ago. We can all understand why, but I do think in this case, because somebody is consistently spending money, you're getting good results, right? So let's tackle a question on another topic that raised, and that is this. It's a new piece that we launched last year called follow-ups. Okay, so it's follow-ups. This is kind of in lieu of a CRM drip campaign. It's our own drip campaign. That's what it is, okay? And you can turn it on for buyers or for sellers. You can use Spanish or English. And if you click in here, let's go on the buyer one, you can see everything that we have written. And, just to kind of make sure nobody gets excited, Scott and I do not want to get in the CRM business. There are a lot of big competitors out there. Maybe we will at some point, but we have so much to do in what we do, which is helping clients capture leads and market. Now we're going to just continue to get better here and and also focus on conversion. So we know that we are, I think, the top company to capture leads at a price per lead. That's crazy. Not everybody knows that, but we know it. And a lot of our clients do know it. So we want to get better at helping you convert those leads because you get more money when you convert leads. So here, as we look at the follow-ups, you can click in here, you can edit them if you want, you can delete if you don't like a particular part. I think you can even add a step, right? And the question, I can't remember who had it, Janice, is are we going to add text? And the answer is yes. But I tell you, I'm gonna tell you. So that means that let me explain what text is. So right now, this is the cadence. One day they get this, day 4 they get this, and you can see what time frame we're delivering, what we're giving. Sometimes we include PDFs, and so we're gonna add text inside of here. Okay, so maybe every 3rd or 4th day they get a text from you. That kind of story, right? So we are working on that, but I want to caution. I want to give you all this temper before you get excited about that. We are now at Listings to Leads. We have been questioned in 2 lawsuits regarding automated texts. Okay. And I want to just say this because in both of those, we're actually not the party involved. They know us because we help them capture the lead, but they're using another platform to help automatically text. And that's where the problem comes in. If you're in Florida, or if you follow a lot of real estate news, the real estate in Coldwell Banker, I think it's about 2 or 3 years ago, an agent got sued for using an automated text follow-up system, and this person didn't want it, and boom, problem, lawsuit, right? And so I want to caution all of you, if you're thinking of automated text, to really, really be aware of the do not call stuff. That's really all it's about. If you go around that, you're going to find yourself in trouble. And we just saw another lawsuit come back this week. Again, one of our clients capturing leads with us using another company to automatically email or text. And there you have a problem. It's when you're auto texting. So before we launch it, I think, Janice, you asked me this, before we launch that, we are going to make sure that we are not getting our clients or ourselves in any kind of legal trouble, because that's just no fun. Anyway, on my recent email blast, is there a way to see what email bounced or didn't deliver? Maybe, Janice. So in your, I don't really know. I think there kind of is. If I go to follow-ups, delivered. See, they don't have follow-ups turned on. You might be able to drill down on that somewhere in here, Janice. So I would save that question or just email it to the support team. I really don't know that one. I don't know that one. Okay, so let's get back to the basics. I've been yammering on here and we're not moving very fast. If you're new to us, you got to set up your account first, okay? Now, there's actually, when you come to the dashboard or get started tab up in the front, there's this profile, and this kind of works, but it's actually, I got to send a message. We left a couple of things out. So I actually don't like setting up here. Let's talk about setup, and to really do this correctly, go to your profile. Okay. And when you go to your profile, there's a section here that says auto posting. So you need to go here and connect to your social media accounts. Okay. And boom, 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 connect to them all. Even if you don't use these, we put hashtags inside of these. And even if you have 3 friends on Twitter, hashtags are followed and indexed. You also need to come here and click this button that says copy and paste, which copies this information and puts it in this blank box. When you come here for the first time, this box is empty. You save it. And what that tells us is, hey, anytime a listing gets dropped in the system, auto post it with that text that you just copied to your social media accounts. Okay. This is a great way to capture free leads, because as we're auto posting, we are putting landing pages behind it. Okay. And so when people see it, they have landing page. Let's see if we can see it here. He's got a recent one. Let's see if it's going to go out there. When the post goes, let's see here, social media posts. This is what we're talking about. This is what's auto posting is. Let's give it a second. Yeah, he didn't know the timing was right. So anyway, you would see the post here. And so I think he connected his Facebook after the fact, but it'll auto post out. We'll go look at it, something like that in a bit. So, but the point is, set up your profile, set up auto posting. If you have a CRM currently, we have a lot of APIs to connect your CRMs here. If you don't see your API here, you might have a solution in Zapier or in API Nation. And many CRMs, they give you a unique email address, right? Like it's going to be something weird, like some numbers and things that you would never ever use at a CRM, right? It looks something like that. And you drop that there, you save it, and then when we capture a lead, we're going to send leads there automatically. And that's how it drops into your CRM. Okay. So if your CRM does not have an API, like in this column here, and it does not have any kind of connection with API Nation or Zapier, and it also does not have a lead forwarding email like this goofy one I just typed, I recommend you get a new CRM, because that's so old fashioned. It has not enough automation for you. So there's that. Or you can just turn on our follow-ups that I was showing you earlier, and that should totally work. Now, Janice has another question, which is, can we set up an email auto reply for leads? And you know that the follow-ups is an automated system, which is a long extended drip campaign. So you basically get an email automatically. But I also think if we go here to preferences, there might be some sort of automated auto response. There are on certain tools. I'm not exactly sure though on every tool. So, but I would just recommend turn on the follow-ups because that's the automated drip campaign for those things. So when we're on the profile, this is where you set up your appearance. You can see these color bars here. This is what's showing in the bar across the top. Obviously, your logo is going up here. And these things, I would also look here. We have some really new designs for our single property websites and also our social media share stuff. So if we're sharing automatically, you might like a look like this, right? And it's still going to have a landing page behind it, but it's just going to have maybe a new, fresher look. So you can go set those things up as well. Okay. So after you do that, you need to come over here to the ads page. Now, I showed you this in this account, and I don't think that this person has a Google setup, but he does have Facebook set up. So when you come here for the first time, it's not going to look like this. It's going to have two big buttons, and one's going to say connect to Facebook, and one's going to say connect to Google. And when you click through it, it's going to just, ask you what business page on Facebook and blah, blah, blah. Facebook is a little bit easier. You click OK and done, you come back and you're ready to go. Okay. So you need to go over here, connect to Facebook and connect to Google. And then you need to go over here to social and go turn on the social content. Now I'm going to jump out of this because I don't think this guy is connected. Yeah. So first it's going to ask you to connect to the social accounts, which is going to feel kind of repetitive. It gets kind of confusing because I've already told you to connect to social for social media auto posting. Then I just told you to connect to Facebook for ads. And now I'm telling you for a third time to connect to your social media account. And this is because Facebook has different APIs for different functionality. And so you do have to kind of go through this and then you can not have to mess with it. Then what you do once you've connected is you set your calendar and then you go choose your topics. And the topics are, it's like colorful content, right? Content about homes, about home maintenance, about gardening, about landscaping, outdoor living, kitchen design, all these things. And you'll want to, use some or all of those. Really, it's really meant to show what you like, right? You might not like, we're not all the same kind of people. So you want to kind of choose the topics. And I think there's like 50 topics in there. So go set up your social. You can set it and forget it. Not a lot of lead gen there, but it helps your social media look like you actually take care of it. We got a question here, Travis. Will there be a replay? I think that's the word you're typing. And so that means you're late and this is being recorded and this is going to be on this page right here, which is our YouTube channel. Okay. It's also going to be in our mastermind group. And so you want to, again, ask the support team to get you in the mastermind group, ask them to get you to the YouTube channel and watch these calls here. So that's the setup. After that, there's kind of two areas that I think you're going to want to live in: listings and ads. Okay. You're going to want to set up some landing pages, but once you've set those up, you're going to use ads and some other tools to get people to the landing pages. So you're really going to want to be familiar with listings and ads. All right. So let's start with listings. And we had a glance at it earlier. I'm actually going to jump out of here because I'm in a client's account and he's kind of got it it's kind of a weird one. Let's see here. Let's go to Evolve. Evolve is an office that I just set up around Vancouver, Washington. And so this is a live office client, right? And this is a team account. So it looks almost exactly alike, but it's a little bit different. And here's Elizabeth. So I've been talking to Elizabeth a lot lately. So your listings will look like this when you come to your listings page. Now, before I dive into this, I do want to point out one thing that everybody needs to do, like immediately, meaning today. Like you need to do this, okay? You need to come into your account. And like I said in the setup, go set up your profile and do your appearance, do your colors, get your logo, get your picture in there, and then come over here and click create a listing presentation. And I'm going to do this. It's not going to be the presentation for Elizabeth. It's going to be the office one. But each one of you as an agent has this listing presentation. And you should download this for yourself. And you should download this if you want more listings in your business, because you're going to want to get familiar with everything that we are doing for you, because you're going to want to convey this to a potential listing client, right? And this might be a better way for you to hear everything that we do than listening to me. Okay. Like, because I jump all over and I forget, I can't finish my sentences anymore since COVID. but anyway, there's a lot here. And frankly, you need to print this for your own knowledge and education of what we do when it comes to listings. And also you need to print this so you can leave it behind when you're at a listing presentation. Many of our clients have told us that it is impossible to compete with this if you're competitive, and they win every listing presentation. Now they have some other tricks of what they're doing, and you can learn about that when you download the listing presentation, or you go into the dashboard and watch some stuff there. But this thing is really comprehensive. It tells everything that we're doing. And you want to be able to speak to that. And it is downloadable right here on your listings page. There's a big button that says create listing presentation. Okay, so you get that. Now, when you have a listing and it's active, and you can see here, you can change the status. If something is coming soon or active or just listed, we're trying to get buyers. The call to action are to get buyers. When something is later stage, like under contract, pending, or sold, the call to actions are to get home values, right? To get listing leads. So that's where a lot of agents, meaning our clients, drop the ball. They don't actually use everything that we design, right? And I'm going to bring something to your attention here. There's a question that came in a couple of years back from somebody that kind of came in, kicked the tires, and left. I don't think she's even a client of ours. She says, who here gets 2 listings every month strictly from listings to leads, right? And what do you attribute that to that success? And a bunch of our clients jumped in. And a lot of these clients we know, but I'm going to point out one guy who I want to just sort of, because we're talking about this, I want to explain his view of it. He says, Terry, we average 2 listings from each marketed listing, all from L2L tools, Facebook ads, mailers, and open houses, trying to get that to above 3 this year. So what he's saying is, I'm trying to get 3 listings from each listing that I sell, right? That would be awesome. A lot of you do 1 listing a month. What if you did 3 times as many, right? That would be pretty good business. When Dustin wrote this, he was a rookie agent in an office that I set up. It was 3 years ago. Okay. Actually, I set up the office earlier, and he was already starting to get pretty good at it at this point. But I can tell you a story because we have a recorded call with Dustin as well. When I set up their office, it was just south of Washington, D.C., called Pearson Smith, 300 agents at the time. And Dustin was a rookie, had been a licensed agent for 2 years, and at that point was doing $5 million in production every year. He took some of my classes. He started to learn how to use this system. And 2 years later, jumped on a call with us, and he started doing $20 million a year. And he said, I want to do this call because I'm doing $20 million a year. And 2 years ago, I was doing $5 million a year. And 80% of my business is coming from you, from your tools. I was floored. I was like, oh my God, like how much time do you put in our system to do that? He says, I do 2 hours a day. I come over here, I drop off my daughter at ballet, and I go to Starbucks, and I work in your system for 2 hours while she's dancing. And that's how I did it. And let me show you what he's done. And what he does do is he markets a home when it's active. He markets a home again when it's open house, and then he markets it again when it's sold. Okay. Most of you will not do that. But that guy, tripled, quadrupled his business in 2 years? If that's of interest to you, here's a really good way of doing it. When you click into market listing, you're going to see all the tools that we create. This property is active. So everything here is designed, all the call to actions is designed to capture buyer leads. Now, this overview here, it's basically you can download a checklist and register to listen to Scott's class on this particular part, which is good. If you really need handholding, take that, download it, print it, look at it. Maybe it's a good reminder. Frankly, this checklist right here is a repeat of this list right here, right? Literally, it's just a more colorful version. That might help some of you, right? For me, it doesn't. For me, if you get here and you start at the top and go down, Scott and I already rank these things in terms of how many leads our clients capture. So you kind of decide, do I want a lot of leads or do I want a couple? I'll go down here and do a blog post, right? But let's just start with Facebook and Instagram ads. If you have your Facebook account connected, all you have to do is type in the name of the word. Now, the name of the town. So this is in Hollywood. I think it's Hollywood, Florida. Yeah. And so there's something. So you have to, hey, what's the problem? Is Hollywood not a city in Florida? Right there. You got to click on it. There you go. It's going to run a $35 ad and it's going to have a 15-mile radius. You can expand that. And because I was showing you at the earlier part of the call that our client was getting buyer leads for about $2.50. So if you do the math, you're going to kind of be able to figure out how many leads you expect to get, right? Does that make sense? It's a $35 ad for 7 days. If you got a super awesome property, one of those marquee properties, and you want everybody to know about it, you might want to increase that budget, right? I don't know, $50, $100. You might want to increase the radius. Now, if this is Florida, and I think it is Florida, and she has something wrong, so I didn't pull it up automatically. I know a lot of clients in Florida, in Texas, in Arizona, and all over the country, even, they like to market to the poor folks that live up in the north where it's snowing. You hear this kind of Buffalo, New York, and you see people sliding on their butts in Seattle. They like to market to those people, right? So you could say, hey, you know what? I'll bet you these people are a little bit grumpy. And I've got a new condo for sale down in the warm part of the country, right? So you just type that right in there and you click create ad. Okay. You see this ad here? Let me go over here to Facebook. Let me turn my ad. I have a little ad block thing. It's like a snap in on my browser, so I don't have to see ads everywhere I go, right? But I just turned it off. And now there are ads here, right? So I just want you to understand what Facebook ads are about, right? You write an ad like this, it shows up on Facebook, and the first thing you see when you come to Facebook, it's always going to be like your friends and family, what they're eating and doing all that, right? The next thing you're going to see is an ad. For me, it's Wall Street Journal. It might just as well be this ad right here. Hey, I got a home for sale, right? So the value of a Facebook ad is that a lot of people come to Facebook to share what they're doing, right? What was their Christmas like? What are they eating? Where are they on vacation? Like all the fun stuff. And you know what? It's so popular that people American adults, not kids, spend 40 minutes every day on their phones, on a desktop. Some of you might be looking at Facebook right now while I'm talking because that's just how powerful it is. So when you're offering something that's of interest to them, they're like, oh, cool. Yeah, I want that, right? Oh, there's a home for sale. Yeah, I'm interested. And it will show up right on Facebook. And you see here, it says sign up. I don't know if you can see that. Or say learn more. And this little window pops up, right? And the window pops up and says, would you like more information? There's only one answer, yes. But in the form, in that yes little form, is their name, phone number, and email pre-populated from their Facebook profile. This is the very best way to capture buyer leads, honestly. Market a listing. Even if you're borrowing a listing, you can borrow a listing and put it in your account and run it out just like this. This is the fastest, easiest way to capture leads. Okay. Now we also have Google ads. We just added Google a couple of months ago and they're not connected. And really, somebody's going to have to educate me. I don't get marketing a listing one particular listing on Google. But I can tell you there's a huge reason why you need to have Google. We'll get into it in a moment. Social media auto post means we're going to automatically post to your social media accounts if you have them turned on, right? And they're going to look like this. If anybody clicks on it, there's a landing page behind it. And that landing page is designed to capture leads. You can click on the eyeball and you can see this big landing page that we automatically created. If they want more details, they can click that button, and people click continue with Facebook in about the time it takes to blink your eye. Like, they click that so fast. And at that point, we get their name and email and we email it to you. So this is a free way of capturing leads, social media auto posting. Okay. There's also a tool for the seller social media. And if you want referrals, I mean, we love capturing leads. Our clients get excited by capturing leads, and we want to do everything we can to help our clients capture leads, right? But maybe you like to convert leads, and you know that leads that are coming from your clients are actually, they convert faster, right? So here we got a home for sale, and my browser must be clogged up because normally it puts a big picture in there. And what it says is, now I know the problem. Hollywood is misspelled. So anyway, you'll have a big picture, but it says, hey, see our Singapore, Elizabeth, meaning you at your office, is doing this to market their home, right? And it just sits there. It's not a paid ad, so it lives there. And your clients are going to see that, not your clients, but because your client's going to put it on the wall, on their own wall. You're not putting it on there. Their friends and family on Facebook are going to see this. Our clients love this, especially when they like more listings. I'm going to go over here, and why is that there? There's a misspelling. Oh, they fixed it. Okay, weird. Anyway, so that's the seller social media. This tool right here, Nearby Homeowner Letter, you need to get familiar with this. This is the #1 tool for getting listing leads that turn into listing contracts. Now, as a reminder, I do a class right here 5 days ago, top tool to get more listings. Okay. We have a lot of ways to capture listing leads. And this letter is the #1 way, right? Now, it's #1, not in terms of the volume of leads it gets, but it's #1 in terms of leads converting into contracts, right? So that's the big deal there, right? If you want a listing lead to turn into a listing contract, you need to figure out how to use this. So to figure out, or to get some background on how to use that, I want to share with you 3 names. If you write anything down, and I would like you to write these down, because here's why. If this is the #1 tool to get you more listings, then I want to make sure you use it. And if you want to learn how people use it, you should actually go look in our mastermind group and look up this name, Dustin Fox. Dustin is the realtor I was just talking about, went from 5 to 20 million. And he'll tell you right here, you should read these comments. You should read what he did. Let me just explain it very quickly. He downloaded that, printed 200 copies, got a little fancy calendar, 1-page calendar. He made a little 1-page thing of his Zillow reviews on Canva, and he stuffed it in 250 envelopes and mailed it first class to the people in Maryland, and pulled 10 listings with an average commission of $17,000, right? That's one of the reasons why that guy went from 5 to 20 million, is that he consistently uses. I can tell you, Dustin uses that Nearby Homeowner Letter twice per listing, usually early, like just listed or open house, and later when it's sold. Another good name, if you want to get involved with that tool, is Chris Winstead. Chris, last couple years ago, moved to San Antonio, Texas, with his wife and kids. He was a realtor, but he moved from out of state so that they could be closer to his wife's family, and bought a home in a nice neighborhood and said, hey, you know what? I want to dominate. I want to own this neighborhood. So he borrowed listings from his office and starts mailing that thing out, that letter every 2 weeks. And the recipe is right here. He's like, Every 2 weeks, he mails out that letter for one property or another. He was just borrowing listings, right? Once they opt in on the home value piece, he hits them up every week with phone calls, bomb, letters via mail, and letters left at the door. Now, I'm not trying to blow smoke out of you. There is some work to do all that, right? But that guy came from out of state and pulled 5 listings in 3 months, and that's the recipe, right? What he's saying is when people go here, they take this piece of paper in their house and they go to their own computer and type in that web address and then put in their address and their email. He follows up with his people. There are a lot of realtors that frankly don't care about following up with leads. But if you are somebody that wants to grow your business, you might want to do that. One last thing about Chris. Well, one, you can read a lot. There's a lot of information here. Chris very quickly became the top listing agent in that office and started his own office. And the very first thing he does is create a recruiting video on here's how I customize listings to leads tools so that I get more business. And he's basically telling people, I'm going to make you a productive agent. I would go check out that YouTube channel. I'm sure he's got a lot of great content there now. So those are a couple names there that I would check out. If you're an agent with a lot of leads in a CRM, copy this right here, copy. Click on that picture, click here, you're going to become a buyer lead, right? You're going to end up on a page like this, which is our single property website, all kinds of call to actions here, many ways of capturing leads, all the information people want. And if you scroll down on this flyer, it's going to say that affected your home value, and click here to get your free home value. And you know what that's all about, right? So definitely, if you've got a CRM with a bunch of leads, I would use that. We also created short form video scripts. And this is a little bit of an aside, but I would definitely recommend everybody takes a little time and gets with it and starts using this. You can download this. I would download this, read it a couple times so that you feel comfortable reading it. Whip out your fancy smartphone and shoot a video of you reading this, okay? And then once you've done that, you can use it on platforms like YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, TikTok, even Facebook, right? You go to Facebook, what's at the top? These stories, whatever, right? If you want to build your brand and let people know the kind of value that you bring, video is the future. It's the reality right now, and it's the future. We're trying to make it easy for you to take advantage of that, okay? Now, we also create single property websites that we looked at. We create virtual tours. We have a luxury version and we have a lead gen version. You choose either one that you want. We have a whole open house marketing toolkit. Everything's mobile optimized. You can capture buyer leads or seller leads. If you're doing print like postcards and door hangers, you got to use our stuff. I can just tell you this, print has been in real estate for a long time, right? Because you guys probably know from your history books that the printing press was invented like 100 years ago, right? But the internet started in the late 90s. So a lot of realtors know like, oh, I got to do print. But if you ask the ROI on your print, oh my God, the eyeballs go right back in the back of the head because nobody knows their ROI. It's just, they just do it because they've been taught that they got to do that. But if you look at our stuff, you're going to realize that you're actually going to get an ROI. Here's the front, just listed. Go check out that website. Go find out more about that home, become a buyer lead, right? Or go to the back and it's going to say, hey, that's going to affect your home value. Go here to get your free home value. So if you've got a farm market, there are a couple of ways to think about hitting a farm market. And all of you must have farm markets, right? You've got geographic areas. It might be a development, it might be a city, it might be a neighborhood. You want to be hitting it with print. You want to be hitting leads on email if you can, and you want to be hitting that area in social media, right? And on places like Google. So if you're gonna do all that, you definitely want to be using our tools. I'm sure many of you are with a lot of great companies, real estate companies in the country. And many of you have really cool tools that are awesome for your company brand. Are they awesome at capturing leads and getting people to, ask for more information for you? Typically, the answer is no. Like 99% of the time, the answer is no. It's just got your branding. We got your branding. We got your colors. Like this color here, it's just because this is how the office is set up. This is going to have your colors, your logo. So it's going to be representing you. And that's how it works. So Heidi here's got a question. Let's see here. Do we need to put in a request for YouTube videos to be done for each listing? No, it's done automatically, Heidi. But that does raise a question that I forgot to mention. And it's somewhere, if we go to get started, it's one thing that we did right. We're funny, like we do everything about 95% right. Anyway, when you come to get started on the top, it says connect your social media. You may not know this, guys. If you're using Gmail, you have a YouTube channel associated to that. You should go click your way through it, put your little logo and a little banner and make it look good and connect it right here like this guy has it, okay? And then, Heidi, what that does, for all of you, if you don't have your own email account and you don't have your own YouTube account, we automatically create a YouTube video for you, virtual tour. You don't even need to do anything. We just do it, right? But if you want to go into a listing presentation and say, hey, I have my own YouTube channel, and that's like the #2 website in the country, and I have virtual tours of your home on my channel, and there's a link right underneath it where they can get more information, like capture them as leads. If you want that story, well, go dust off your little YouTube channel and connect it right here. Okay. I definitely recommend everybody do that. I mean, there's so many people using Gmail and they don't understand that Gmail is owned by Google and YouTube is owned by, see here, YouTube is owned by Google. So they actually get, let's go look at this in the US. They give preference to that, right? So if you look right here, these are the top websites in the country. Google, #1. #2 is YouTube. And #3 is Facebook. And I've already shown you, we're going to talk more about Facebook ads, but I've already shown you, what you, so, when you're using this, when you're doing this kind of search, or when you're presenting us and you're able to say, I'm helping you on Google, I'm helping you on YouTube and on Facebook. These are the top sites. If you keep going down that list, let's go here. There's a lot of big social media stuff, right? Apple, Yahoo, Twitter, Instagram. These are all big things here, right? So you're able to speak to that. You don't have to tell them that Listings to Leads is doing it automatically for you. You just say, hey, I'm doing this. It's part of my marketing strategy to help you sell homes at top price, right? So let's go finish our story here of marketing an active home. And well, these guys have a property. Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay. So I was talking about short-term video script. We talk about print postcards. We also have sign writers. And I do want to speak a little bit about this. We have, if you're using our text service, which is a $10 add-on, I would recommend that you do that. We also have QR codes. And you'll notice that we have sign writer with text or QR codes. So let me have a sip of coffee and give you a little more detail about this. When you take a QR code, and everybody's more familiar with QR codes ever since COVID, but we've had QR codes for over 10 years. And I can tell you, people don't use QR codes too often, but the world may have changed, right? The world may have changed. So maybe QR codes are good, right? But when you take a QR code, and you're welcome to do that if it works on your computer right now. You take a picture of that little QR code with your phone. It takes you to the single property website, right, of a home, right? It'll take you to this. And then after a few seconds or however you have this set up, it's going to have a lead capture thing popped up, right? But at that point, people can make a decision. Oh, I want to click that and give you a lead, or I don't, right? But let me close a couple things here. I'm lost. If they text that number to that number, we're going to immediately send them a link to the single property website. We're also going to immediately email you with the same link to the single property website, so you know what property they're looking at and their phone number. Okay. And I honestly think that if somebody is sitting in front of a home because they looked at that text code right there, and you text them, hey, I see that you're there. Would you like to set up an appointment? That's a really smart thing to do. Okay. And then, every once in a while, I'll just text them, hey, are you looking in that neighborhood? What's your price point? What kind of bedrooms? The normal stuff. That's good to do on text. Let me just give you a little conversion topic. A lot of people, when they get a phone number, a lot of realtors, when they get a phone number, what do? Boom, call, speed the lead, right? I'm sure you guys have been hearing that story for years. But I don't know if you guys live in the real world like me. If God knows there are so many scam phone calls, right? Calling you about your auto warranty, calling you about solar roofing, calling you about whatever nonsense people call you about. I'm in sales. I'm in sales for the company. And let me tell you, if my phone says there's a spam call coming in, I don't answer it. It goes right to voicemail. You might call somebody and somebody might answer it. And you're like, hey, you know what? I see you're looking at my house. Would you like to be blah, blah, blah? And often the answer is, I don't know what you're talking about. Right. And it's not that they're not interested. They just don't know you and they're not ready to be talking to a salesperson. Right. That's just the reality. However, all these training programs for realtors to speed the lead, this was long ago, probably designed before cell phones. You know what I mean? Like that's how old. Cell phones are not that old, but the strategies are super old. And I'm telling you, you want to make sure people are comfortable with you. They're not comfortable picking up a phone if you just gave them their number and they don't even know that they gave you the number because they just texted something. So, it's crazy. People don't use, common sense. But anyway, if you're a blogger, great blog tools. If you want Craigslist, there are some good reasons to use Craigslist. And like I said, we have QR codes and we make a YouTube video. Okay, so that's the listing side. Oh my God, we're at the top of the hour, guys. I'm really sorry. I'm going to keep going here. I am recording this. If you got to go, you got to go. Thanks for joining me. But I'm going to get into the ad section right here. And I think you should hear this, even if you got to go. Now, this client here does not have Google set up. Okay. They just haven't connected. So I would recommend that you connect Google to your account. Let me tell you why. Remember when I showed you the top websites in the country? Number 1 is Google. Okay. Number 3 is Facebook. And number 2 is YouTube. We already talked about that. Let me explain a little bit about what Facebook is. Facebook is where we go see our friends and we go see all the fun stuff that everybody ate and where they're at and their vacations and the grandkids and all that stuff, right? That's awesome. That's why it's the number 3 website in the country. Okay. But when somebody has a question like top resorts in Cancun or whatever, they don't go to Facebook and ask that. They go to Google, right? And right now, one of the trending searches is how do I sell my home? And that's a really important thing to think about because it tells me 2 things. Like literally, this is a trending search, meaning you can go find out what people are searching, what the top real estate searches are right now. And you will find that these kinds of questions are being asked, which tells us all that 1, people want to sell their home, and 2, they don't know a realtor. Because if they knew a realtor, they wouldn't be coming to Google to ask, right? They go, hey, what's the story, right? So that gives you an opportunity. That means that if you got a account, let's see if I can find this. We might have one that's connected. If you got an account connected to Google, you can run an ad with one of our fancy home valuation landing pages and offer them a home value, right? On Google. Let's go look. Maybe we've got it connected. I don't know. The ads. Give it a second. Create a Google ad. Create a landing page ad. Create a landing page here. Let's do one here for Granite Bay. Create an ad. And you do got to type in the town, right? Wrong. So you want to type in the town of where you're trying to, where you want the ad to show. You can click here to view the link so you can see the landing page that you're driving to, right? And now you can have a $5 a day budget. I think you need to increase that to at least $10 a day. This is a 30-day ad. I might test it out for a week. I don't know why we do this. I like to test things out, and I would increase the daily budget and I would shorten it to a week and see how this works, right? Now that's what the ad looks like. So if we go over here, you see these ads. If I was sitting in Granite Bay, and I have these keywords in my ad, it would show up. And now you know that Google is the #1 website where people ask questions. Actually, 86% of all searches on the internet start on Google. And with our software, we make creating an ad on Facebook super easy. I really highly recommend this if you want listing leads. And I will tell you this, I set up a lot of teams, and a lot of people are super savvy on lead conversion, right? If you're in a team, you kind of have your system now, right? And that's a big deal. And so I've had people tell me, I have one team that had a pretty big outfit. They said, listen, we convert one out of 70 Facebook leads. Okay. But we convert 1 out of 40 Google leads. And that's because when you're going to Google, you're asking a question and your ad is providing a solution. Okay. So that's what you got to think about. And honestly, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, but definitely in real estate, you should have a Google strategy. We're going to make it really easy for you. Okay. I will talk a little bit more about Google, just so you understand, because if I ask you on this call right now, how many of you have run an ad on Google or on Facebook, at least half of you have run an ad on Facebook, right? But if I ask you how many of you have run an ad on Google, like 1 out of 10, 1 out of 20. So I just typed in a search while I'm yammering on here about a local restaurant. And you see this little block here, right? And I don't even know what this is called, but I noticed that a lot of realtors have this. If you have this, there's like a whole process of setting that up and getting it branded and getting all your stuff set up right. That's not the ad. That's like a little store. That's a storefront on Google. Your ad is going to be right over here in that left column. But if you have this set up, and some of you have, and you've never run an ad before, this means that you have the ability to run ads. And you connect a Google account to your Facebook or to your listings to leads account over here in ads, and then you can do this kind of thing. Okay. I highly recommend it for listing leads. Landing pages. I'm almost done here, guys. You get unlimited landing pages. And the landing page that you should be creating is called Property Valuation Plus. You can see that there are all kinds of landing pages, like you can create them for FSBOs, for expired, for iBuyers, but Property Valuation Plus is the instant home value. Okay. So if you click on that and you type in the name of your favorite city and click create landing page, it's going to create the landing page. It's going to have this generic look of this like laptop thing, right? And don't use that, especially if you're running an ad. You want to put a photograph of something that looks like the area. Okay. Now Scott does this and he never listens to what I say, but this is one thing that kind of works. He must have a video here. So you could put a drone video in the back, but let me give you a pro tip. It needs to not be this, right? I think this is his old house. It needs to not be a nice home in the neighborhood, unless every home in the neighborhood looks exactly alike. It needs to be something that is going to tell people that you know their area. And often it's a landmark. When I set up Coldwell Banker in Summit, New Jersey, they told me it's this restaurant. They said, when we put this picture of the Summit Diner, now let me tell you, Summit, New Jersey is about 24,000 people. That's on Main Street. It's an old converted railroad car story. You get your greasy potatoes on the weekend kind of deal. It's awesome, right? If you know Summit Diner, you know Summit, New Jersey. And that's what you want to be thinking when you create a landing page for your towns. You want to have a landmark. And then once you've done that, there's all kinds of cool things. As a reminder, running ads is one of the cool things you can do. But also, trying to get back to our YouTube channel, there are a lot of things you can do with a landing page once you've created it. And that brings us back to our handy dandy YouTube channel and this most recent call 5 days ago, top tools to get more listings. To learn those other ways of how to use that landing page and other ways to get more listings, check that out. Guys, thanks for hanging out with me today. I'm sorry I ran on. Now is a good time to ask any other questions before I say goodbye and tell you to have a happy new year. So does anybody have any questions on any topics? We kind of covered a lot. This call getting started is a bit of a mishmash of how to set up your account and Facebook and Google and Top Tools. I do recommend that you go check out these two most recent calls, Top Tools Get More Listings, and because in the Facebook, Google ads, because that is, if you watch these 3 calls, you're going to know how to use our system. So I don't see any questions. Let me thank you again for joining me here, and thank you for your questions. If you need a team account, if you need an office account, or if you need like a nationwide agency account, just email me at Vincent Listings to Leads. I set all that stuff up. Otherwise, enjoy the holidays. Keep safe. I know it's like tricky on the weather and all that. And have a great 2023. Get in our mastermind group. Our support team, by the way, is awesome. If you have questions, go right there and put it right in the box. Everybody is using that. That's our email group. It's definitely going to help you out. So, that's Hollywood, California. Got it. Anyway, everybody, take care. Thanks again. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.